First contact and betrayal. The vast emptiness of space stretched before Commander Eliza Chen as she stood on the observation deck of the ESV Horizon. Earth's first deep space exploration vessel represented humanity's greatest achievement, a culmination of international cooperation and technological innovation that had taken decades to realize. The ship's quantum displacement drive had carried them farther than any human had traveled before, to the edge of the Cygnus constellation, where anomalous energy readings suggested intelligent life. "Commander," Lieutenant Rivera's voice came through the comm system. "Scanners have detected an artificial structure at coordinates 274 to 3891. It's massive, at least 3 kilometers in diameter." Chen's heart raced. After 6 months in deep space, they might have finally found what they were looking for. "Bring us in slowly, passive scans only. Let's not announce ourselves too aggressively." As the horizon approached, the structure revealed itself, the gleaming orbital station constructed of materials that seemed to absorb and redirect light in impossible ways. Its architecture was both beautiful and alien, with spiraling appendages that rotated independently of the central core. "We're being scanned," reported Ensign Puddle from the sensor station. "Multiple frequencies, very sophisticated." Chen straightened her uniform. Humanity's first contact with an advanced alien civilization would define her species for generations to come. "Open all standard greeting channels and transmit First Contact Protocol Alpha." The protocol, developed by Earth's brightest linguists, mathematicians, and anthropologists, consisted of simple mathematical sequences, basic atomic structures, and visual representations of humans designed to establish a universal foundation for communication. For 17 minutes, the horizon waited in tense silence. Then, unexpectedly, a holographic projection appeared on the bridge. A tall, slender figure with iridescent skin that shifted colors like oil on water. 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern studied the humans with evident curiosity. "We receive your greetings, Earth beings," the figure spoke in accented but perfect English, causing gasps among the crew. "We are the Vexari. We have observed your species for some time." Over the following days, the encounter progressed better than anyone could have hoped. The Vexari, an ancient spacefaring species with colonies across multiple star systems, seemed genuinely interested in peaceful exchange. They invited a delegation aboard their station, where Chen and her team marveled at technology centuries beyond Earth's capabilities. "Your adaptability is remarkable," said Curvex, the Vexari's chief diplomat, as they toured the station's agricultural center, where plants from 1,000 worlds grew in harmony. "Most young species we encounter are rigid in their thinking, but humans seem uniquely flexible." "Necessity drives innovation," Chen replied. "Our planet has forced us to adapt continuously. We've survived ice ages, plagues, and our own destructive tendencies." Curvex's skin rippled with blue patterns. What Chen had learned was a sign of contemplation. "Perhaps that explains what we find so fascinating about your kind." The Vexari shared knowledge generously: medical advances, sustainable energy solutions, and insights into stellar phenomena. In return, the humans offered their art, music, and literature, which seemed to captivate their hosts. Earth's governments celebrated the historic alliance, already planning joint ventures and cultural exchanges. On the 7th day, Chen was awakened by blaring alarms. She rushed to the bridge to find chaos, sensors showing multiple Vexari vessels surrounding the horizon, their weapons charged. "What's happening?" she demanded. "They just appeared, Commander," Rivera said, his face pale. "No warning. They've locked weapons on us." Chen opened the communication channel. "Curvex, there must be some misunderstanding." The Vexari diplomat's image appeared, but the friendly demeanor had vanished. "We have completed our assessment, Commander. Your species presents an unacceptable risk factor." "Risk? We show nothing but peaceful intentions." "It is not your intentions that concern us, but your potential, your adaptive capabilities," combined with your aggressive instincts, create a statistical probability of 87.3% that humanity will become a destabilizing force in the galactic community within 3 centuries. The first energy blast hit before Chen could respond, rocking the horizon violently. "Evasive maneuvers," she ordered. "Get us out of range." "Quantum drive is offline," shouted the navigator. "They've targeted our propulsion systems specifically." More impacts shook the ship as the Vexari methodically disabled the horizon's defenses. Hull breaches reported on decks 3 through 7. Life support failing. Chen knew the ship was dying. "All hands to escape pods," she commanded, her voice steady despite the fear gripping her chest. "Emergency Protocol Omega. Make sure the data core is secured. Earth needs to know what happened here." As crew members rushed to evacuation stations, Chen downloaded all sensor data and diplomatic exchanges to a portable data core. The ship shuddered again as secondary explosions rippled through its frame. Lieutenant Rivera appeared beside her, bleeding from a head wound. "Pods are launching, Commander. You need to go now." "The data. I'll make sure it gets to Earth," Rivera insisted, taking the core. "That's an order, Commander." Their eyes met in understanding. One of them needed to ensure the warning reached Earth, and Rivera was volunteering to stay behind. With reluctance, Chen nodded and made her way to the last remaining pod. As her pod ejected from the dying ship, Chen watched through the viewport as the horizon erupted in a final explosive blast. Rivera had succeeded. His pod had launched moments before, carrying the precious data. Around her, only 11 other pods had escaped from a crew of 143. The journey back to Earth was long and grim. The pod's limited propulsion systems could achieve only a fraction of light speed, and communication arrays had been damaged in the escape. It would be weeks before Earth learned of the betrayal. When Chen's pod finally reached the solar system, she discovered that Rivera's had arrived 3 days earlier. Earth was already mobilizing for war. In a secure underground facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, she stood before the United Earth Defense Council, her uniform still torn and stained, but her back straight as she delivered her report. "They attacked without provocation or warning," she concluded. "Their stated reason was a statistical projection about humanity's future development. They see us as a threat not because of what we've done, but because of what they believe we might become." Admiral Watson, the grizzled head of Earth Fleet Command, studied the tactical data with a grim expression. "Deep space monitoring stations have detected multiple vessels with Vexari energy signatures approaching our outer colonies. Based on their current velocity, we have approximately 8 weeks before they reach Earth." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity, barely united after centuries of internal conflict, now faced an existential threat from the stars. "They believe we're dangerous because we're adaptable," Chen said finally, breaking the silence. "I suggest we prove them right." Humanity unleashed. Dr. Marcus Reynolds hadn't slept in 72 hours. The former quantum physicist had been working continuously in his laboratory beneath what remained of MIT, surrounded by Vexari technology salvaged from debris the aliens had left behind during their first attacks on Earth's outer colonies. "Their shield modulation follows a predictable algorithm," he muttered to himself, studying the holographic models floating before him. "It's elegant, efficient, but fundamentally inflexible." The doors slid open as Commander Chen entered. 6 months after the Horizon incident, her face bore new scars, both physical from a close call during the Battle of Mars, and emotional from witnessing the devastation the Vexari had wrought across the solar system. "Please tell me you have something, Marcus," she said without preamble. Reynolds gestured to his models. "They're practically begging us to beat them, Eliza. Their technology is centuries ahead of ours, but they've optimized it to the point of predictability. No redundancies, no adaptations, just perfect, consistent efficiency. And that's their weakness." "Exactly. Their shields cycle through 7 frequency harmonics in a fixed sequence. If we can create a cascading resonance that disrupts all 7 simultaneously, Their defenses would fail completely. Chen finished. How long to build a prototype? With the materials we have. 2 weeks, maybe less. Chen shook her head. The Vexari main fleet will reach Earth in 10 days. We might not have 2 weeks. Then we work faster, Reynolds said simply. On the other side of the planet, in the ruins of what had once been Sydney, Captain Rai Patel led his resistance cell through the sewers beneath the Vexari occupation zone. The 38-year-old former Special Forces operator now commanded a group of 200 fighters, a mix of military personnel and civilians who had refused to surrender when the aliens took control of Australia's east coast. "Patrol coming," whispered Santos, his scout. 6 soldiers, standard formation. Patel nodded. The Vexari ground forces were formidable, each standing nearly 7 feet tall with natural armor and weapons that could disintegrate a human with a single blast. But they moved with mechanical precision, following the same routes at the same times day after day. "Are the charges set?" he asked. "In place and ready," confirmed his explosives expert, a former mining engineer named Wilson. "Remember," Patel told his team, "we need one alive. Intelligence says they've changed their communication frequencies again." When the alien patrol reached the center of the intersection, Wilson detonated the charges. The explosives, created from modified Vexari power cells, went off simultaneously, killing 5 of the soldiers instantly. The 6th, a commander by the markings on its armor, was thrown clear but injured. "Move," ordered Patel, and his fighters swarmed from their hiding places. Later, in their underground base, Patel interrogated the captured Vexari. The alien sat rigidly, despite its injuries, 4 eyes blinking rapidly in the dim light. "Your resistance is mathematically futile," it stated in its oddly melodic voice. "Our tactical simulations give humanity a survival probability of less than 0.02%. Patel smiled. "That's why we'll win. You run simulations. We defy them." Information extracted from the captive was quickly transmitted to Earth Defense Command through the Resistance's encrypted quantum network. Similar reports came in from occupied territories worldwide. The Resistance had discovered that Vexari sensors could be fooled by certain mineral deposits, that their communication implants could be jammed by modified radio equipment, that their rigid tactical doctrines made them vulnerable to unconventional guerrilla strategies. Humanity was bloodied but adapting rapidly. When Reynolds finally completed his resonance device, it looked like a tangled mass of human and Vexari technology, held together with solder and determination. "It's not pretty," he told Chen as they stood before it in the underground laboratory, "but it will work." The first test came 3 days later. A small human ship carrying the resonance generator managed to approach a Vexari destroyer over the ruins of Chicago. When activated, the device performed exactly as Reynolds had predicted. The alien shields flickered and failed for precisely 8.2 seconds. It was enough time for concealed Earth fighters to launch a coordinated missile strike. The Vexari destroyer crashed into Lake Michigan, the first major alien vessel destroyed since the war began. News of the success spread like wildfire through resistance networks worldwide. Reynolds' team worked around the clock to build more resonance devices, while engineers adapted the technology for different delivery systems. In Sydney, Captain Patel received plans for a miniaturized version. "This changes everything," he told his fighters. "We can hit them where it hurts now." When the Vexari main fleet arrived in Earth orbit, they found not the broken, cowering species their simulations had predicted, but a global resistance armed with countermeasures specifically designed to exploit Vexari weaknesses. Earth's remaining military forces, supplemented by civilian volunteers, launched a desperate but coordinated defense. The decisive moment came during the Battle of Proxima Centauri. The Vexari had established their forward command base in Earth's nearest stellar neighbor, confident that humans couldn't reach them. They had not accounted for Dr. Reynolds' latest innovation, a hybrid propulsion system that combined salvaged Vexari technology with theoretical models that Earth physicists had only dreamed of testing before the war. The attack force, led by Commander Chen aboard the newly commissioned ESV Defiant, emerged from faster-than-light travel directly above the Vexari base. Their ships, smaller than pure Vexari vessels, but more maneuverable, moved in patterns the alien tactical computers couldn't predict, using maneuvers that seemed to defy the laws of physics as the Vexari understood them. On the Vexari command ship, High Commander Zexvari watched with growing horror as human vessels outmaneuvered his fleet. The alien ships, designed for formation combat against conventional opponents, couldn't adapt to the erratic attack patterns. One by one, they fell to weapons based on their own technology, but modified in ways they hadn't imagined possible. By the battle's end, the Proxima base was destroyed and 23 Vexari capital ships lost. The human fleet disappeared back into faster-than-light travel before reinforcements could arrive. Similar victories followed across nearby star systems. Humanity, once on the verge of extinction, had become the hunter. The species that had survived ice ages, plagues, and their own destructive tendencies had adapted once again, this time to face the stars themselves. 3 years after the Horizon incident, on the neutral world of Centauri Prime, Commander Chen, now Admiral Chen, faced High Commander Zexvari across a negotiation table. The war had reached a stalemate, with both sides recognizing that continued conflict would only lead to mutual destruction. "Our initial assessment of your species was incomplete," admitted the Vexari leader, skin flickering with patterns that Chen now recognized as indicating discomfort. "We calculated the risk you posed based on your adaptive capabilities, but failed to account for how quickly those adaptations would manifest when you were threatened." "A natural mistake," Chen replied evenly. "You judge species by your own standards. Logical, efficient, predictable. Humans are none of those things. What are you then? We still struggle to categorize your kind." Chen considered the question. "We're survivors. We thrive on challenges and grow stronger from adversity. You pushed humanity to the brink of extinction, and in doing so, accelerated our development by centuries. The peace treaty signed that day established new boundaries and protocols, but more importantly, it spread a warning throughout the galactic community. Earth was not to be provoked. The small blue planet at the edge of an unremarkable spiral galaxy harbored a species unlike any other, unpredictable, innovative, and absolutely dangerous when threatened. In the decades that followed, humanity expanded cautiously into the stars, not as conquerors but as explorers once again. They carried with them the lessons of the Vexari War, that their greatest strength lay not in technology or numbers, but in their boundless capacity to adapt, to innovate, and to overcome. And throughout the galaxy, a new phrase entered the lexicons of 100 alien civilizations, spoken with a mixture of respect and trepidation: human ingenuity.